Do you have a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, multiple late payments on your credit report? You got this delinquent account, you got this delinquent account, you got a charge off, you got collections, you had a lot going on. But now you're trying to get back on track, you're trying to get your credit report back in order, and I'm gonna basically walk you through the process on how to remove everything off your credit report and knock the credit bills out so the banks can be begging for your services. So with that being said, you know what time it is. Let's get right into it. So in today's class, the first thing we're going to be covering is the procedure on how to remove these serious delinquent accounts off your report. The second thing we're going to be covering is how to create the perfect letter to set the credit bureaus up. Third and most important thing we're going to be covering is 3 laws you must know to get you better results. And the fourth thing we're going to be covering is what you need to be doing while you're waiting for the credit bureau to respond. So with that being said, go grab a pen, go get some paper, and you already know you got to get something to drink of. It's about to be good. The procedure we like to follow to remove anything from your credit report is broken down into 3 different phases. But since we just focusing on serious delinquent accounts, here are the 3 different phases. We have the pre-dispute phase, we have the dispute and bill phase, and we have the last phase, which is the knockout phase, knocking the credit bureaus out. But there are some requirements you need to do before you send off your first letter, and that's what I call the pre-dispute phase. Just like when we was taking the test back in the day, there were some requirements we need to do to pass the test, right? We need to study, we need to do practice questions, we need to do this, have study groups. We did certain things to pass that test. So there's certain things you need to do before you send off your first letter. And the first thing you got to do before you send off your first letter is, of course, analyze your credit report. Now, what most people do is focus on, when they have delinquent accounts, they focus on this part right here, the 30, the 60, all that stuff. We don't want to focus on that part of the account. We want to focus on this part of the account. The reason why is because everything has to be complete and accurate on your credit report. So if it's not complete and accurate, they are not following the law, right? And since they're not following the law, you can get it removed. Now, if you have a car on your credit report and you have multiple late payments, guess what? If you remove the account off your credit report, they're not going to come for the car. Just like if you have a house and you have multiple late payments, you have things going on, they're not going to come take your house away, all right? What we're doing is removing the account off your credit report because guess what? There are multiple violations. And the things that you want to do first is actually analyze and pinpoint the inaccuracies and the incomplete information that's on your credit report, all right? So grab your credit report. If you don't have it, the link is in the description. You can go get it from Identity IQ, all right? Another requirement before you send off your first letter, before you set the credit bureaus up, is cleaning up your personal information. When you create a free account with Experian and you act like you're about to dispute online, man, what you're about to see is different variations of your first name, your middle name, your last name. You're going to see many variations of your addresses. You're going to see many variations of your phone number. You're going to probably see a spouse on there, or if you're not with your spouse no more, it's probably going to be on your credit report. You're also going to see your job history, that's probably incorrect. You're going to see a lot of variations of your personal information. So what you want to do is clean that up. It's very key. And what you also want to do is see what addresses is attached to those negative accounts, because what you want to do is clean that up as well. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you clean that up? Send a letter in to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax and clean that up. And also, if they don't clean it up, file a complaint with the CFPB. That's another way you can clean that up. Now that we got all that cleaned up, another requirement is no snitches, all right? LexisNexis, CoreLogic, SageStream, Innovis, Factor Trust. But not only do we want to hush them up, we also want to order the reports. We want to see what is being reported about us when it comes to Factor Trust, LexisNexis, CoreLogic, Innovis, ARS, all those different places. You want to order that report and see what's going on with that report as well. But also, not only do we want to order the report and hush them up, we also want to knock them out, all right? Because they probably are reporting specific accounts on that report, so we want to clean that up as well. Now that you understand that, I don't want that to stop you from actually sending off your first letter to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, all right? If you don't get to that part, it's okay. But most importantly, we want to send our first letter to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax and set the credit bureaus up. The reason why we're doing it a specific way is because we're doing everything according to the law. Now, I'm going to show you how to create the perfect letter to set the credit bureaus up, because what they're going to do is say, hey, everything is complete and accurate on your credit report. And you're going to know that's a lie, because when you checked and analyzed your credit report, you saw that, hey, your open date was incorrect. You saw date of last payment was incorrect. You saw the date of last activity was incorrect on those specific accounts that you're trying to knock out. All right. So what we want to do is set the credit bureaus up, and I'm gonna show you how to create the perfect letter so we can set them up. All right. So let's get into it. Now it's time to set the credit bureaus up. Now, how we're going to set them up is basically using the law, leveraging the law. We follow the procedure based off of the law, 15 USC 1681 I. All right, this is based off of the procedure. Now, what we're doing to the credit bureaus is asking them. All right, we want to have our name on here, as you can see. You want to have your name. All right, you want to put your address. You want to put the date, and then to whom it may concern. All right, now you don't have to put to whom it may concern. You can put Experian. You can put TransUnion, or you can put Equifax, all right? And what we're saying is, hey, you telling the truth. You just looked at your credit report, and I wanted to make sure everything is 100% correct and accurate, right? Can you reinvestigate the accounts listed below? All right, so what you want to do is add that delinquent account right here and that account number right here, all right? Now, reinvestigate the completeness of every piece of information, and if it's not accurate, please remove it from my credit report. That's all we're telling the credit bureaus to do, to reinvestigate the specific account, because what you did was you noticed that the open date last active, you saw the account number, you saw the account balance, you probably saw the limit, right? You probably saw some things that was not correct on Experian, not correct on TransUnion, not correct on Equifax, but we're not telling them to update it, we're telling them to check every piece of information on those specific accounts. Now, what their job is, they're supposed to do an investigation to make sure everything is complete and accurate. And if it's not complete and accurate, they're supposed to update it or modify or delete the account according to the law. If you want to read it, 15 USC 1681 I, and go to number 5 and read it, where they're supposed to update and modify that open date. They're supposed to modify that account number. They're supposed to modify date last active. They're supposed to modify that payment. They're supposed to modify everything on that specific account. So what we're doing is telling them to reinvestigate. They're supposed to already do an investigation, but we're telling them to reinvestigate that account and update or modify everything if it's not correct, and that's their job. As we wait in these 30 days, we sent our letter off certified. This is part of phase 2, is building up our credit report. Now, how do you build up your credit report? Now, only you know. If you don't have no positive accounts on your credit report, here are a few places I recommend. I would recommend Cheese. All right. Cheese help you save. It's automatic. All right. Also, BoomPay. If you're renting, you might as well go ahead and report your rent, because if you've been living at that apartment for the last 2 or 3 years, you can get that trade line, that open date added to your credit report, and you can report the last 24 months. And if you've been living at that apartment for the last 5 years, now you have a 5-year trade line reported on your credit report that's going to help build up your credibility and help improve your credit score. Now, also another place you want to do, if you have no revolving accounts, I highly recommend this place. It's called Tomo Credit Card. The reason why it's going to help you is going to create that discipline of paying back every single month when it comes with a credit card. So Tomo Credit Card is a charge card. You have to pay everything back in full, but with Tomo, hey, they're going to pull that money out in the next 2 or 3 days out of your account. So now you have the discipline. Now you have not only with the discipline of paying back that credit card, but if you got Cheese, you're building and saving, because 67% of Americans don't have at least $400 saved up in their emergency fund. Now, I'm not saying you don't have $400, but what I'm saying is now you're creating that automation of not only saving, but reporting to the credit bureaus. And not only is going to help improve your credit score when it's time for you to apply for a credit card or apply for a loan, or if you need anything, guess what? They see that on your credit report. Now you built up that relationship, you built them things up. Now it's time to knock the credit bureaus out. Now, this typically happens when it comes to phase 3, all right? So the credit bureau, you waited your 30 days, 35 days, and the credit bureaus either responded to you saying everything was verified, or they didn't respond to you, or they deleted some accounts off your credit report, which is, congratulations. Now, if they responded to you and said everything was verified, here's what you want to use. Here's the law you want to use. 15 USC 1681 I-7. The reason why you want to use that is because according to that law, what you want to do is ask for the description of how they verify that account. And guess what? They have 15 days to provide that description of how they verify. The next thing you want to do is, if they said, or if they didn't respond to you at all, you want to use 15 USC 1681 I. That's like the first law, the letter A, right? And typically, the credit bureaus are supposed to respond to you within 30 days. If they don't, that's a violation. Now, if you want help, if you want more assistance on how to write up a complaint, here's what you want to do. You want to watch this video right here, and I'm going to basically walk you through the process of how to write up a complaint so you can knock the credit bureaus out.